I did not expect to wake up to this news today about Togashi revealing the ending of his Hunter x Hunter manga. It's honestly concerning. It's legitimately scary to see this information, to see Togashi reveal something that many fans for decades have been wondering how he would end it. And as of late, for the past 5 years to even 10 years, people have wondered, will we ever even see an ending of Hunter x Hunter? Will we ever actually truly get to see the ending? Because, FYI, if you don't know anything, Togashi has an offer. He has a lot of health issues. His health is not good. He has back issues, probably more issues than we're unaware of, and it's very clear that is the reason why he's taken many hiatuses, yearly hiatuses, for a very long time, because his health isn't good. And so when you factor all of that in, into just like what we got here with this reveal of him actually giving us an ending of Hunter x Hunter, it's concerning. Like this paragraph, to give you a clearer picture, I will share scenario D, which fell out of the candidate scenarios for the ending. If fate takes me before finishing the manga, consider it the manga's ending. I would be happy if you forgive me for that. That's a concerning line. So let's give some backstory here before I really dive into this ending and all that and the nuance behind it. So basically, the thing about this is that Togashi is someone that is a very, like, he keeps his fan base at a distance. He doesn't like to have them too close. And one of the big things for a very long time within the community for decades was that Togashi was lazy. You could find memes of it, people talking about it, that he was lazy, and that Togashi only likes playing Dragon Quest. You could search it up, it's easy to find. There was a lot of memes about it. And that was what people actively believed for a very long time, was that Togashi legitimately was a lazy person that didn't really care about Hunter x Hunter. He just wrote a few chapters to make a quick buck and then leave. That's what people thought for a very long time. And people were kind of unaware of his back issues. They didn't really know what was fully going on with him. And so when you factor in, like, how he's been as of late, to where when he made a Twitter account to be more transparent of him working on the manga to show people that, yeah, even when I'm on hiatus for a very long time, I am still working on the story, writing it, etc., and him just being very open about that was a very sudden shift, a very different Togashi that not many of us have really, or most of us have never seen. And it's kind of spooky. It's just like, why? Of all this time, why is he being more transparent when he's always been a hermit? Then, after all of that, he shifts from Shonen Jump to a new magazine, which, FYI on this, as we know, Hunter x Hunter was canceled in Shonen Jump. Not, like, canceled, but, like, it moved. It's changing magazines. And basically this means that Togashi no longer is going to have the weekly format. And many fans, agree that this is for the better. Because obviously, week-by-week chapters is not healthy. We know this. It destroys authors' health. Not just Togashi, but any author that works at Shonen Jump and does a weekly manga chapter, it destroys them. We know this. There's so many stories on it. So, Togashi moving from that is a good thing. It's legit good for his health. However, to this point in time, we still don't know what magazine he's going to be in. We don't know if he's in, like, Jump Plus, Jump Square, etc. We don't have any idea. But we know he's shifted magazines, because Hunter x Hunter is no longer in Shonen Jump. It's not. So, for that to even happen also shows that Togashi was willing to budge a little bit and finally leave Shonen Jump to be able to complete his life's work. Because at this point in time, with how long he's been working on Hunter x Hunter, it is his life's work. It is. He's been working on it for a very long time. It's his baby. And seeing how much he's been willing to kind of let go of to be able to complete his work is very fascinating, but also scary. Because it means that there is a potential likely possibility, obviously there's no information to confirm this, but for him to even give us an ending like that and talk about if he was to pass away before finishing the series, this is what the ending would be, it makes me concerned that his health might have spiraled and taken the turn for the worst as of late. Obviously, his health might be good enough for him to be able to do a potential interview, because that's what's going to be coming out tomorrow, but it's still concerning nonetheless. So I am worried about that end. Now, with all that said and done, I'm not going to dive into the vague possibilities or whatever, but we need to get into this ending. he talks about his ending and what he has planned. And I think that this adds a lot of layers to just how much thought Togashi has put into his series, which is already self-explanatory. I mean, anyone that has read Hunter x Hunter or watched the anime knows the care and attention to detail within the story is pretty ridiculous. It is. And, you know, it's nice to hear from the author's own mouth that he already has not just one, not just two, not just three, but 4 endings planned. Obviously, the 4th ending, Ending D, is not good. I mean, many people can agree it's probably not a good ending. But it is interesting to see that he has 4 endings planned, which basically means that he kind of knows where he wants to end his series, and he knows how fans would react and how they would feel about which ending he was to give to all of us to see, which is interesting. In a perfect world, Togashi would make spin-off chapters or whatever of all the endings to showcase how the series would be a little bit different with its conclusion. But let's get into actually what he talks about here with his different endings. So he goes on record to talk about ending A, ending B, and ending C. These are the 3 endings that he has in mind. Ending D, which is what we got, which I'll cover in a second, is the ending that is the dropped ending. It's an ending that he doesn't want, but if he was to theoretically die, as he said, this would be the ending of the manga. This is what people will say is the ending of the manga. And that's what he actually truly says here. He literally says with his own words, if fate takes him before finishing the manga, ending D will be the true ending. So, ending A, he basically talks about how if he was to give us ending A, it would be the most satisfactory ending for the fan base. Basically, most people will be satisfied, and very few will be dissatisfied with ending A. Ending B is more of the, I guess, a war between the fan base. For instance, 50% love it, 50% hate it. That's what ending B will be. And ending C will be the ending to where universally most of the fan base will absolutely hate it, and only 10% of people will enjoy the ending of ending C. Now, let's be fair here, okay? I know people are going to instantly say, oh, I'm going to be a part of the 10% when it comes to ending C. And FYI, to talk about this ending C, ending C, apparently, according to Togashi, is the ending that he wants the most. He literally says it is his preferred ending. His personal preference and preferred ending is ending C, which is the ending that 90% of people, his readers, will be dissatisfied with. And before you say you'd be a part of the 10%, you probably wouldn't. Now, with this reveal, that the 90% or whatever is going to be skewed. Because obviously, if an ending happens that's very controversial, if it does happen, Togashi does make it to the ending and he is allowed to make ending C, then obviously I don't think it would be as many people as dissatisfied with it because of this information that has been revealed with this interview. But let's just say in a perfect world, or in a world to where we never got this interview, okay? Togashi's health was mildly a lot better, okay? And he was able to get to ending C. I'm willing to bet you that people would universally hate it, and the people that say they'd be in the 10% would actually still be in the 90%. And I do think that Togashi is smart enough to understand the dissatisfaction of what people would have to a certain ending, what they're expecting, their expectations, which is one of the big reasons why he's always kept, his fan base at a distance. It's what I talked about earlier on in this video. So I do wonder exactly what he has in mind for ending C. I mean, I do think that if everything works out and nothing in life happens to where, he isn't forced to rush things or whatever, or his health doesn't take even worse of a turn, he's going to go ending C. I 100% believe that, because Togashi has always wrote for himself. Don't believe me? I have some information to share. Togashi as an individual, he ended Yu Yu Hakusho abruptly, FYI. If you don't know this, Togashi does not like Shonen Jump. Obviously, I don't know how he feels about it nowadays, but in the past, Togashi hated Shonen Jump. He was basically forced to not do what he wanted. There was editor meddling, he wasn't able to deconstruct his characters, and I believe, don't quote me on this one, but I believe he wanted to move away from, Yusuke Urameshi, from Yu Yu Hakusho, and he didn't actually want to have him as the MC anymore. And Shonen Jump didn't want that, and obviously Togashi was upset, so he just abruptly ended his manga, and the villains of the final arc were basically the emotions that Togashi was feeling towards Shonen Jump and life itself at that time. So all of these factors considered, Togashi's always wrote what he wants to write. He is someone that will only write if he enjoys it. If he doesn't enjoy it, he's not going to do it. And I think that if everything works out, he will do ending C. And I am curious, if his statistic of 90% dissatisfaction will actually be real or not. That is a really interesting debate or question that is asked. I'm asking the community. I wonder how many people actually would hate it. What would be an ending that literally would dissatisfy 90%? Like, I'm trying to fake here. Would people be dissatisfied if, like, let's just say the whole cast dies? Would people be dissatisfied with that? It's Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, there'd be people upset, but I don't think people would be upset if, like, the whole cast died. What if it was a cheery ending? Would people be 90% of the cast be upset? Or the fan base be upset? I don't think so either. So, I don't know exactly what he considers a good, enjoyable ending or not, but, it is curious. Now, with all that said, ending D here is something that, it can be summarized in a few ways. I'm just going to summarize this. You can pause the video and look at it yourself, but pretty much you have him reveal a character called Jin. This character, Jin, is, I believe, the grandchild of Gon. And in this ending, apparently Gon is a grandpa. He got with someone, he married them, and apparently the person he got with, from our understanding, is Noko here, which is a brief character, one of the young girls in Gon's village at the start of the story. So when you see her here, apparently the Noko that is being mentioned in this is her. So FYI, Gon got with her. This is the ending. This is the romantic ship that Gon had at the end of the story, at least for ending D. So that is definitely, whoa, okay. But anyways, the point of the matter is apparently Jin doesn't want to be a hunter. And the reason for that is because she doesn't want to allow those to feel lonely, isolated, sad when she goes on adventures. When we think about the element of the story at the beginning of Hunter x Hunter, Gon's entire motive was to figure out why his father left him, why his father left his family to go be a hunter. What was so good about it to do something like that? So Gon wanted to discover that for himself, to understand what it meant to be a hunter, to leave everything behind just for that experience. And obviously, you know, the people at home that's left behind, they're going to be very emotional, sad, lonely, and all that. And Jin obviously sees this and doesn't want to be the exact same as, like, her grandpa Gon. So she decides she wants to stay in the village and inherit the village's, like, you know, the house and all that. So she is the exact opposite of what Gon stands for. And the very opening is basically the beginning of Hunter x Hunter, fishing at a lake, pulling out, you know, the lord of the lake and all that, but she doesn't want to be Gon. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting ending. Obviously, it's not an ideal ending, but it is an ending basically to show that you don't always need to go on adventures. You don't need to see the whole world to be satisfied. You can be satisfied with the little things in life. And that's, in my way, I think that's what Togashi's trying to say here with the writing, is that, you know, people might have the same exact starting points, but they will come to a different conclusion. And that's kind of what I think is going on here. Now, will this technically, you know, would she ever eventually change her mind and go to be a hunter? We don't know. But once again, Togashi said that this is his ending. If he dies, this is what the ending would be, so we would never even know to begin with. So, yeah, that's up in the air on that one. But anyways, ending D is pretty interesting. It's not a good ending, definitely, by any means. It's definitely one of those endings that's just like, really? It feels very stereotypical and all that. It doesn't feel good at all. It's definitely something that Togashi probably just wrote on the side very quickly on a napkin, and that was about it. I wouldn't necessarily say this is horrible. I wouldn't say that this is a horrible ending. I'm not. But it definitely is an ending that's just basically saying that, the generation after Gon doesn't want to be like him. That's pretty much the point of here. They just want to be the exact opposite, which is just like, man, that's kind of sad. It's a little bit of a sad way to kind of end Hunter x Hunter, this giant journey and adventure story. But yeah, besides that though, overall, fascinating interview from Togashi, and I am curious what really spurred this on. I'm a little bit concerned for the man. Hopefully this doesn't prove to be true, that this is actually the ending we're going to get. But yeah, what's your thoughts? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Be safe, stay healthy, everyone. I love ya. Chibi out.